What tools do you need to run your panel machine? Watch this video and I'll show you. Nate Roston here. In today's video, we're going to show you the tools that you need for daily machine operation. But first, the most important thing, as always, you want to make sure that you're doing this safely. So whenever you get inside the machine and you do adjustments, we want to make sure that you're observing the lockout, tagout requirements in your area. And especially if you're using the shear, we want to make sure that you're working in front of the shear, behind the shear, but never through the shear. One of our customers, Jim Averill, made a video about what he brings to the job site. Check out the link right here. There are a few items that are obvious that you would need, and that is going to be a pair of snips to cut the material, also to cut the leading edge of the coil off the corners, so when you feed the material through, it doesn't crash when you're coming through the machine. You're going to need a tape measure to measure the parts, just to make sure they're coming out the right length. And you're going to also use the tape measure when you're changing an SSH or an SSR on the profile change or on the width change of the panel. For a select few of the panels, we do have a profile check gauge so you can confirm the dimensions of the panel that you're running. Now, one thing you'll notice when you work on our machines is that the 1/2-inch wrench, which you can use a box end, or like I have here is the ratchet end with the reversible tip, but you can use just a regular combo wrench. But the 1/2-inch wrench is about the majority of bolts that you're gonna see in the machine. That's gonna be used for changing the tooling out, making adjustments to the shear, or certain adjustments within the machine when you're adjusting for the material that you're running. But it's good to have a set of wrenches from 9/16 all the way down to 5/16. We also recommend that you have a ratchet with a small socket set, okay, and that's gonna also be used to make adjustments and just make a few things a little bit easier. When you're gonna be changing the tooling out, we'll recommend that you use either a 10-inch extension, or you can use a 6 and a 3 together. It'll help you when you're adjusting or removing the tooling, so that you're not banging your hand inside the frame. So I like to use the needle nose vice grip pliers to turn some of the shafts on fine-tune adjustments. When you're changing out the notching cartridge, you'll need a pair of needle nose pliers to pull the clip off the pin for the notching cartridge. You're also gonna use a 1/4-inch T-handle to remove the screws out of the notching cartridge from the notcher housing. So you also use this to remove the tooling for an SSH and an SSR. And to adjust the carriage on the width adjustment, you're gonna need a 3/16 long T-handle to reach the clasp underneath for the carriage on an SSH and on an SSR. Also, if you're on the phone with one of our technicians and they're asking about the gapping for some of the rollers, you'll need a feeler gauge to check those. And you also need one when you set up the clip relief as well as the stiffening ribs. And it's always good to have a 6-inch flexible ruler just to measure certain flanges on the panel. You'll always need a set of Allen wrenches to make adjustments. In particular, the 5/32 Allen wrench used to loosen and tighten the set screws, and also on some of the eccentric shafts, the 5/32 Allen wrench is used to turn the shaft to make some of those adjustments. And it's always good to have a standard screwdriver, so if you ever need to access the power supply box on your motor, and if you need to access the control panel, you'll need a Phillips screwdriver to remove the screws if you're gonna update your computer, or if you have to check the breaker inside that box. If you want to learn more about our products, check out the link right here. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.